I am delighted to announce our 2024 total revenue of $400.3 billion. And are you ready for this? Our total 2024 profit is $14.4 billion. If you'll excuse me, I left the jet running.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. This morning, healthcare protesters were out at the Cathedral of Capitalism, Wall Street, where they stood on the steps protesting as United Healthcare revealed its record revenue that it earned in the year 2024, as well as over $14 billion in profits. Our John Farina was on the ground covering the protests. Shockingly, corporate media was not there. Take a look.
Who are you?
To decide.
To decide.
If we live.
If we live.
Or if we die.
Or if we die.
Who are you?
Who are you?
To decide.
To decide.
If we live.
If we live.
Or if we die.
Or if we die.
Right now, United Healthcare Group has announced their quarterly earnings. And we don't think that's right, because we know that that money has come from our premiums, has come from our Medicaid trust fund, has come from denying our care, taking our money, and not providing health care.
That ain't right!
Luigi Mangione has unleashed a tidal wave of fury from Americans towards United Healthcare and others. Why do you think this is? Why do you think his alleged actions has woken this outrage amongst Americans across political ideologies?
What I've noticed recently is that there is so much evidence all across the country and all over social media that there are hundreds of thousands of people having the same experience. And now we're finding each other and forming a collective that is going to be able to demand that private equity and money be taken out of our healthcare.
It's human suffering, right? So because that's why we're here. There's so many people suffering these days, and we're trying to help people fight back and get their claims approved. We have a whole team that's trying to help people. I mean, really, it doesn't matter who you are, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. Everybody's family's got a story about being denied health care, being denied a test, being denied medication. I mean, I watched an oncology doctor who treats pediatric patients talk about having to beg to get medicines for his kiddos. We need to we need government out of our exam rooms, and we should be taking care of our patients with their doctors and their providers and nobody in between.
I went into medicine because I thought it was a humanitarian profession. But in 1980, the New England Journal of Medicine warned us, medicine will no longer be an art, a profession, a science. It will be a business like ExxonMobil and U.S. Steel. But remember, insurance companies are making decisions, and their goal is to make money, not to provide health care. And they are exploiting us up to $144 billion a year in premiums and federal government money, and denying our care.
If we live! If we live! Or if we die! Or if we die! Who are you? Who are you? To decide! To decide!
But first, we have a special guest. Sir Andrew Whitty is here to tell us about the billions and billions of our dollars that United Healthcare calls profit from last year and exactly how they did it. Sir Whitty.
Good morning. Now, I know the peasants have been unruly and loud, but rest assured that our profits will continue to rise. Our track record of approximately $8 billion a quarter $8 billion a quarter ensures the gas tanks of our Gulfstream jet remain full. Rest assured, United Healthcare executives do not have to fly with low-class people. They need only go to work and pay their premiums. Speaking of premiums, we will continue to spend billions of those dollars on stock buybacks to ensure the value of our shares remains solid. Of course, we will simply continue to deny enough claims to cover that expense. Now, I know you have heard the call to reduce denials, and don't worry, our millions of dollars in lobbying will ensure the Capitol is well insulated against their nagging voices.
I went through 6 back surgeries. I have a major spine injury, actually, and I'll never forget after one of my surgeries, I walked 10 feet more than what the insurance companies would allow for physical therapy, and I got denied physical therapy, and I was actually paralyzed in my left leg for 6 months. It took a long time to get my leg back and everything, and I think it's disgusting what our healthcare system, it's really bad.
People young and old with CRPS choose suicide. They shouldn't have to go there because there are treatments available that insurance companies like United Healthcare refuse to cover. I am one of those people who nearly chose suicide. CRPS feels like you're on fire, like you're wrapped in barbed wire and walking on broken glass. United Healthcare would rather leave me in torture than grant me the peace my infusions bring. I'm asking for a life worth dignity. I'm left begging for a life worth living. I'm forced to cover care out of pocket, in addition to my premiums and copays and co-insurance. And if I'm admitted to the hospital, it's nearly $400 a night. Right now, I need a prior authorization. I need a prior authorization for my next infusion, but no one at United Healthcare will talk to me. They keep me on hold, they transfer me from one person to the next. Some of the United Healthcare advocates leave me feeling like it's all a joke for them, while they pass me around like a toy and lie to me.
So there's been a lot of talk about, in politics and in the media, about how democracy is at risk. But today, United Health is celebrating $14 billion in profits made in large by denying Americans health care. What kind of democracy are we living in?
That's a really good question, where we allow industry to profit on the backs of people suffering. There are so many people suffering these days. I mean, I have CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome. 70% of the people in my population will choose suicide because they're not given treatment. And there are treatments available, but their insurance companies don't want to cover it because they just want to build their bank accounts. I mean, how much money do you need? $14 billion? I mean, how many lives could you save with just one?
There's been a lot of talk in politics and the media about democracy being at risk, but today United Healthcare is celebrating $14 billion in profits made in large part by denying Americans health care. What kind of democracy is this?
Well, I think what we see here today is a demonstration of what democracy really is, and that is people finding each other, finding their collective voice, gathering and getting a message out in a way that more and more people can find each other. When I was fighting by myself in 2020, I felt very isolated. I felt alone. I felt shame. I felt like I had done something wrong. And in 2024, when I stood together with hundreds of other people in the same fight, I felt powerful. And now I advocate to elected officials and work with them to develop legislation in the state of Illinois that we hope we can do all across the country.
Let me give you an example of one of my patients and what I went through. My kidney transplant patient had a mass in his neck. It turned out to be malignant. But the surgeon at Mount Sinai knew that he needed a PET scan to determine, was this cancer localized or was it metastasized, and that would make a difference in the type of care. He didn't need surgery if it was metastasized. But United Healthcare denied the PET scan because Mount Sinai charged $12,000 for the PET scan. What happened? He could only file an appeal, which took 6 months. Had he not waited, the patient would still be alive with us now.
Patients over profits! Patients over profits! Care over cost! Care over cost! Patients over profits! Patients over profits!
Those American tax dollars look so good in my portfolio, as I am sure they do in yours. As you know, I was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for making money. So be certain our grotesque profits of over $20 billion a year will continue to be replenished with fresh American tax dollars weekly. Every FICA deduction makes our wallets fatter, as it should be. I mean, if we actually approved all that care people want, it would be unsustainable and cut directly into our bank accounts. Saving the best for last, I am delighted to announce our 2024 total revenue of $400.3 billion. And are you ready for this? Our total 2024 profit is $14.4 billion. United Health Group remains the largest healthcare company in the world and remains in the top 10 of Forbes' largest companies in the world by revenue. Now, if you'll excuse me, I left the jet running. I have a doctor's appointment for a full physical, covered by the tax dollars of UK citizens. I do so enjoy the United Kingdom's free national health care. Really? How do you Americans do it? Oh well, pip pip and cheerio.
I want to make very clear, though, that the assassination of the CEO I thought was disgusting. It was horrible. You can't kill people. Violence cannot be used. But again, there has to be real change with our healthcare system, because what's happening is wrong. Innocent people are dying. Again, innocent people are dying from terrorist and drug cartel financing, and they're dying from our own healthcare system. And the biggest issue here, is that a lot of people just don't care. They're apathetic, and that has to change.
Right. I feel like people are just very content and just going about their day and comfortable
Nobody
living.
cares.
Yeah.
Nobody
right.
cares. Everyone's walking around. They don't give a shit. Excuse my language, but that's what's happening. No one cares that terrorists and drug cartels are getting financed. Nobody cares that the health insurance companies are killing innocent people. They're denying coverage so they can line their own pockets. It's not right. It's not justice. And I'm someone who fights for justice. I don't care what that is. I'm trying to fight for our democracy, for justice, for try to make the world a better place. And you're right. There's a lot of apathy out there, and that people are walking around like zombies. They need to wake up and actually do something.
Hey, United, listen here!
Our demands are very clear.
Our demands are very clear!
Denying claims is not okay.
Denying claims is not okay!
Patients suffer every day.
Patients suffer every day!
I'm here today because I immigrated to this country in hopes of building a good life for myself and my family. America is supposed to be the land of opportunity. But since coming here nearly 40 years ago, I have only struggled and suffered because of our healthcare system has been a huge part of my struggles. I have gone to school and worked 3 or 4 jobs at a time. I have worked hard, but an injury that have left me with physical disabilities. Most recently, in 2022, I fell and landed hard on my left ankle. I broke, and the bone ended up with a 1 centimeter wide gap. I am a dual enrollee in Medicare Advantage and Medicaid Managed Care, privatized program run by insurance corporations like United. Medicaid pays low reimbursement rates, so many providers don't accept it. As a result, following my ankle injury, I ended up forced to go to a clinic that basically functioned as a training facility for new doctors, residents, and fellows. I needed surgery to repair the gap, and a fellow performed the surgery. Mistakes were made during the procedure, and I was left with even more pain. I have been constantly in pain since.
Right.
It has been over a year, and I still don't have this machine.
Wow.
And I'm left in excruciating pain, unable to even walk up and down the stairs, and icing my left ankle to get a better sleep. America, we call the land of opportunity. Who is that opportunity for?
Oh, say that, say that, say that.
Who is that opportunity for? Who is that opportunity for? I know it is not for people like me.
Care over cause!
Care over cause!
Patients over profit!
Patients over profit!
Care over cause!
Care over cause!
And let me tell you the latest thing that United Healthcare is doing. Every patient I now see, I receive a 7-page AI-generated letter telling me that they have hired a company to review my notes to make sure that I am being paid appropriately. That is just another way of saying, let me get your note, get a few more codes so that I can increase my Medicare trust fund money, and deny and say that this is not an appropriate claim. The letter gives you a way to upload your note. It doesn't work. They give you a phone number to call if you cannot send in your note. It doesn't work. So this is another way that they don't have to pay doctors, a new scheme.
I think we could all get behind, these corporations, the banks, the health insurance companies. The people need to rise up against all these big corporations.
Absolutely, it's major corporate greed, it's dirty money.
Yes.
And again, if the President Trump and Elon Musk and Vivek Swamy, if they're serious about cleaning house and corruption and promoting corporate transparency and accountability, start with the banks. Start here down on Wall Street. That's where it needs to start, in our healthcare system. So if they're serious about making change, I'm all for that. I'm against a lot of what Donald Trump stands for, but at the same time, we have to all work together to facilitate that positive change. But again, if President Trump is serious about cleaning house, they have to start with the banks. This is where terrorist and drug cartel financing starts and where it ends. The buck stops here.
In my hand, I have this document. This is, in very small print, a list of the wholly owned subsidiaries of United Healthcare. Very small print. This is how they make billions and billions of dollars. I'm going to give that to you. Hang on to that. Only in America, seriously.